Hey everybody, I'm JJ Johnson, and right now what I want to do is just talk with you a little bit about fishing kit. I think that probably one of the most overlooked items in bug out bags is a good fishing kit, and specifically a small collapsible fishing rod. Um, and a lot of guys will say, man, you don't need to carry a collapsible fishing rod or a reel in a bug out bag. And you're right, you don't have to, okay? There is plenty of ways that you can do primitive fishing. You can set out trout lines, you could use just a stick and a line and cast it out. You can use different kinds of little fishing traps and stuff. There's tons of different ways. However, one of the most efficient ways to catch fish is with a fishing pole. And in a survival situation, in a bug out situation or whatever, you might have a lot of time where you can just sit at a lake or a pond or whatever and do some fishing. And having a fishing pole with an actual reel that will cast and reel in and all that kind of stuff actually makes your odds of success better. And so when you're talking about having to feed your family and supplementing the emergency food that you're carrying with you, this is a great way to do it. 70% of the Earth's surface is covered with water. And for me, I live out here in the eastern woodlands, and there are plenty of little creeks and little, ponds and lakes and all that kind of stuff around, and those are all really, really good food sources. So I think it's worth the weight and the space to carry a fairly comprehensive fishing kit, and that includes, I've got, for my family of 5, in our bug out bags, we carry 2 collapsible rods and reels. This one is a mini cast 2 by Daiwa, and this is the Shakespeare TRV LMS. And both of them are relatively inexpensive, and they're not like super high quality heavy duty either. You do have to take care of them, and you got to kind of pack them up right and everything like that so that they don't get crushed. And so that's what I was going to do here real quick, is I'll show you guys how I packed this all up into a relatively small package and fairly lightweight. And then I put the rods inside of a piece of PVC. And so that works out pretty good because I can also, if I need to, in an emergency situation, use this PVC to actually get a fire going as well. I'll shave some shavings off of it and all that. So anyhow, at least I'm assuming I can do that. I might make a video and just see if we can do that. I'm pretty sure since it's plastic, it'll probably burn. But anyhow, this is a way, putting it down inside of here and then putting some kind of cloth in there with it to hold it tight from rattling is one way that you can just slide it down in a pack, and it's nice and protected, and it doesn't really add a whole ton of weight. This is actually a thicker sidewall of PVC. You could get the thinner stuff to even save more weight, and that would be recommended. You could probably also use a cardboard tube or something along those lines if you had one that was the right size, and that would be totally fine. Well, anyway, let me go ahead and pack all this stuff up and then show you what it looks like packed up. Okay, so this is what it looks like all packed up, and that's a little kind of fluffy or whatever, but I've got the rods packed down into this, and as you can see, it's just friction holding them in, but they don't go anywhere. They don't really make a whole lot of noise or anything. I've got some lures in here. This is a little more noisy than I like, but what I do is basically just take some lures and kind of pack them in between alternate pieces of cloth, and that helps to keep it a little bit more quiet. But one of the lures that I like is the rattle trap, and so I don't know if I'll leave that in there or not, but it's always been a pretty successful lure for me. And then just the lines and the hooks and stuff like that in there, and then I just take the reels and just put them inside this piece of cloth, and then I'll pack the reels inside my clothing. That way it kind of protects them from getting torn up and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, that is it's a lot of space and it's a lot of weight that a lot of people wouldn't necessarily put into a bug out bag, and I understand people's reasonings for thinking of that. My rationale on carrying something like this is that I know that if I plan my bug out carefully and I know that where my bug out location is, that there are going to be lakes and ponds and streams and different things of that nature along the way or at the destination, then this can really contribute to my caloric intake and my ability to be able to feed my family for a longer term situation if needed. Because I'm only carrying enough food for, probably 5 days, 3 to 5 days, something like that. After that, it starts to run out. Your chances of trapping for food and hunting for food on land for mammals is significantly lower than your ability to catch fish, especially using live bait and digging for worms and stuff like that. So that is why I recommend that you have a good collapsible fishing rod as well as a good solid fishing kit, because I just think that you have better odds of feeding your family. So anyhow, guys, just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys carry in your pack in the description below, for a fishing kit and that kind of thing. And is this too much or just enough or not enough? Whatever you guys think, let me know. Anyway, guys, as always, I definitely appreciate it when you click the thumbs up button, when you share it with your friends on Facebook, Twitter, and Google+. And don't forget to live the 6 Ps. Prior preparation prevents poor performance. Stay safe, guys.
One of my biggest time wasters is driving to and from work every day. I can't text, I can't email, it's boring, and it wastes my time. But I started using Audible, listening to audiobooks as I drive. Audible gave me back 2 hours per day, and I love it. Click the link in the description below to get 30 days free, plus a free audiobook from audible.com when you sign up for the service.